Hi there. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the best way to make money in 2026. I know that's like a bold claim. I probably have watched videos of people show you how to make money through AI, real estate, Airbnb, and all of that. And this is not any one of them. Okay, I'm going to talk about what I did and how it helps thousands of people do the same thing basically, and how it might actually make sense for you to consider this, right? Here's the problem, because the amount of money you make is in direct correlation to the size of the problem that you solve, right? So when you're looking for an opportunity to make money, you got to look at the problem. What problem does it solve? What is the financial value of that problem? If you're solving $1 million problem, that means you're going to make a lot of money, because to solve $1 million problem, someone's going to pay a lot of money because it's a big problem. If you're solving $1 trillion problem, then you have an industry, right? So we're going to talk about a multi-trillion-dollar problem. And what that problem is rooted is from how the banking system is set up. When you look back how the banks work, it kind of started out by loaning money to the government itself. Government got in trouble and some rich people wanted to loan money. That created the banking system. They wanted to benefit from it. But ever since then, how the banking system works is kept like a secret, right? Only the big guys who have billions of dollars can get involved and make money off of it. The little guys, the average person, they can work hard and go to school and get a job, but they do not get to know how the people make money from money, like other people's money, right? So in this video, that's what we're going to talk about, because over the past 10 years, I invested all of my time into teaching people how to become business loan brokers, because I started out as a business loan broker. Before that, I had a job, but then I was burning out, putting in 60, 70 hours a week to make somebody happy. And I got to a point that I was making good money, but then I noticed that there's no freedom at the end of that. I always had to, no matter how much you get paid, at the end of the day, you're selling your time for some kind of value in return, right? So if you're a surgeon, you're selling your time to make whatever $15,000, $20,000 per surgery. If you're a salesperson, you're selling it for commissions. If you're a full-time W-2 employee, you're selling it for salary. If that's the structure, then how do we not learn? And why do we not learn? Why are we not taught how these other guys make money from other people's money, right? OPM, you probably heard about that. So this industry, the problem that you're solving is that this $1 trillion problem is rooted from the demand from small businesses and startups for capital. They need capital infusion to grow. They need capital infusion when they hit a roadblock. Maybe there's construction on their street and they lose their sales. Maybe something breaks. Maybe they want to do more marketing to grow and scale. Maybe they want to buy inventory. There are like 1,000 different reasons why a small business would need capital. The problem is there is no reciprocating solution to it, right? Because when you think about logically, when a small business or a startup needs capital, they just go to their bank. But the banks are not designed to give funding to small businesses for the most part. And the numbers support it, right? Depending on the year and what's happening in the economy, more than 85% of these small business loan applications are being declined. But they're still being put through the gruesome process of filling out the application, personal guarantees, and potential lien on their properties and homes and things like that. The whole process can take as long as 6 weeks. They go to Wells Fargo, Bank of America, TD Bank, whatever, right? And Chase. And then at the end of the 6 weeks, they still get declined. Well, that creates a massive problem, right? That creates the problem. When I started out, it was a $300 billion problem. Now it's in trillions, because just because they get declined, the demand for money for small businesses do not just disappear. They still need the capital to do something. And then a bunch of private investors with access to capital came together and started an industry called alternative lending industry. The history goes back to pre-2007 era. For those old enough to remember, there was a recession bubble and then it burst and a lot of people lost their homes and jobs and all that stuff. It was a total mess, but people still benefited from that, right? And fast forward to today, we're seeing signs of potential recession. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but at that time, these investors got together and figured out a way to fund small businesses, because banks do not necessarily understand how a small business operates, right? They look at your assets and things like that, but private investors look at how much the business currently makes, what is the potential of the business to make in the next 6 months, a year, provide funding based on that, right? So they look at the business health, not so much somebody's personal credit and whatnot. So that kind of completely changed the industry. That's when I got into the industry, and there was only like one funding option. Fast forward to today, there's about 12 different funding options. And I'm the founder of Business Lending Blueprint, the largest business loan broker community in the United States. And what we do is we take people like you who are ambitious, you're looking for a change, and you want to make a difference in your community, right? So when you put together those three things, you're ambitious, you actually want to change your current situation, your financial situation, but you also want to help, you're the prime candidate for this, because you probably already know people who are looking for business funding, but there's no way for them to get it. And every time you match one of these people to the lending network, which already exists, you make a commission, right? You don't facilitate the funding, you make an introduction. And we built the system because that was the bottleneck for us. Like, we knew the lenders already, but someone starting out not understanding this industry, it would have taken a long time for them to understand and get deals processed. Now we built our own system. Instead of you going ahead and figuring out how to use AI, we use AI and human capital to build the entire system. So when you just bring in people, the system takes over. Our people call your lead, qualify them for funding, get offers on the table, and get the deal funded. And every time that happens, you get paid a commission. The question is, how much odds? How much is the commission? It ranges anywhere from $1,000 to $15,000, depending on the size of the deal and whatnot. As you can see, that's very lucrative. I'm not talking about making peanuts. I'm not talking about making subscription Netflix money. This is like thousands of dollars. And let me know in the comments if that would be motivating. If you can make an introduction and the deal gets funded and you're making $3,000, $4,000, would that mean substantial change in your income? And for everyone in my community, it does. And we see these success stories all the time. And I'm going to post some of them in the video.
At the time, before purchasing this, I tried so many things, man, and it just didn't work. And if I could just package up what I know and just give it to someone in a card, it would be to buy into your community. Honestly,
Thank you.
Did change my life and just changed my perspective and the confidence in myself in being able to manage my own business and make money for myself and my family. It was a little bit hard to believe for myself. How I earned the money so quick, I actually spent it much quicker, Oz, because I made it so fast.
I wish I would have found this like 20 years ago, but like you said, like eventually with experience and the knowledge that you have that aha moment, like, wait, I want to do this. So yeah.
The community is great, and the training, everything, I would say it's a great investment to be made. And the program, I would say the industry itself, we're not really selling anything. We're not. And I love the feeling you walk in a room and tell people, by the way, I have access to capital. Trust me, that's an icebreaker. I was like, oh, can you tell me more?
So I said, you know what? This is something I can do on my own. I don't have to worry about anyone else coming and pushing the clock for me or representing my company like I want to represent it. I can do it myself. And I just actually closed my first deal a few weeks ago. My first deal has taken care of all my expenses as far as the sales navigator and the duck soup for a year. So at this point, anything I generate in that field would be a positive.
These are the same people who didn't even know this industry existed like 6 months ago. 2 months ago, even 15 days ago, they came in and used our system and they got deals funded. And some of them started out as like, oh, this is going to be a nice side gig. And they noticed the potential. Sometimes the money they make from one deal is enough to cover what they're making by putting in 40, 50 hours through their jobs, right? And this is not a get rich quick scheme. Okay, the money's not going to, that whole thing doesn't really exist, right? And also the whole idea of multiple streams of income is also stupid. I'm sorry, I'm going to upset some people, but unless you figure out one main way of generating substantial amount of income, you're not going to open up multiple streams of income. The life, it really doesn't work that way. If you are average in one income stream, by swapping and changing careers or starting 10 other businesses will not give you the income stream that you're looking for. I'm a prime example of that. I bought into that belief and that commercial that, oh yeah, so the wealth is built through multiple streams of income. I started like 4 businesses. They all failed because you don't know what you're doing in one of them. The key is to unlock one avenue, go deep in it, make as much money as you can. Now you have the capital, you have the experience, you have the vehicle, you have the connections you built that can be applied through so many different areas. So personally, my income comes from, I think, 16, 17 different sources right now, but it all started with alternative lending industry. Then the parallel industries started appearing that made sense. And I want the same thing for you. I actually put all of that in my new book. I want to give you access to this. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you really enjoyed this video. If you comment below this video the word book, my team is going to send you a PDF copy of this book that explains the entire model on how this works and how like ordinary people, but ambitious people can make this work, right? So you already have connections. So you might be a text message away from asking someone, hey Oz, we haven't chatted in a while, but I got connected with a lending network that funds startups and small businesses like you. Would it be okay if I made an introduction to them so you can talk to them? Right? So it can be simple as that. Then you understand how the entire lending works, because US is plagued by financial illiteracy. Most people do not understand how credit works. And they have these misconceptions about how debt works, right? So when you look at the billionaires, really, really large companies, they grow through debt. But for the average individual, it's demonized, right? Oh, you cannot have debt. And because they're afraid that you're going to take the money and go on a shopping spree. Some people might do that, but debt is the core of American system, right? Even government has debt, right? Do we like it? No, but that's just how businesses grow and scale most of the time. People don't have millions of dollars sitting around, right? People don't even have 10, 15, 20,000 to repair a broken walk-in box at a restaurant or a butcher shop. They don't have money to repair their truck. They don't have money to buy another equipment that would actually double their business. they need funding for that. That's how the whole system works. But small businesses are not aware. And when you become a business loan broker, understand how that game is played, you just help people in your community survive. Then if you want to scale beyond it, and we have a lot of marketing strategies that we train you on, and some of them we do it for you. You just have a daily flow of leads. I have people who started out with like basically nothing and now running a business that generates $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a month from their home, sometimes with like a part-time assistant. And you don't have to go that far, right? It has to do with your level of ambition. You can still stay small, and your first goal could be quitting what it is that you're doing right now, your maybe side gig or your job. I've seen so many people go through that, and I'm an example of that. I had a full-time job, but I switched to this, and I noticed how one deal can be life-changing, and it kind of resets your belief system on what is possible. Then you feel like you're a part of the game. Before, it was gated for a certain number of people. Now it's not. You have access to that. And what we did is we have the lender relationships, we have the technology that allows you to get someone into the system, and they come out from the other end getting the funding that they need. And every time that happens, you get paid. You're actually building something. So if it is of interest to you, first, please like this video and comment below the video the word book, and then we're going to send you the PDF copy so you can check out all the models and how that works. It's going to give you an opportunity to schedule a call if you're interested. And if you do, we'll tell you how our model works, and we'll see if it is a good fit. All right. I'll see you on the next video. Take care now.